The PowerStop brake rotor and pad kit is available as you see it here with the drilled and slotted rotors or with a plain rotor, which is just solid. Jeep did make a change in the brake style in late 1999 and up, so make sure that you're getting the right set of brake rotors for your TJ. If you get the wrong year, they're not going to fit. Today we're going to talk through the installation of a set of brakes like this, which is a very simple installation. I'm going to give this a strong 1 out of 3 wrenches. Now, the idea of the drilled and slotted rotor is that it allows some of the gases to escape during hard braking, so you don't have that layer of gas between the pad and the rotor, which can actually make you not stop as quickly. Now, if you go off-road a lot, if you spend a lot of time in the mud, chances are these are just going to pack up with dirt, at least when you're on the trail, and they're not going to be very functional. So that's really why PowerStop gives you the option. If you spend a lot of time on the trail, if the additional money that you have to spend for the drilled and slotted rotors just isn't worth it for you, save a little bit of money, go with the plain style. If you spend a little bit more time on the rocks or on the road, or you just aren't as worried about the mud clogging up the slots and the drilled spots on your rotors, and you want to spend a little bit more money for the additional performance from these are going to be available as well. Now, as I said before, brakes are a wear item. Of course, you're going to be replacing them from time to time on your TJ, and if you're going to replace them, you might as well upgrade them to something that's going to bite a little bit better. If you go through the proper break-in procedure with these brakes, they are going to have more teeth than a factory replacement set of brakes or the low-end cheap brakes that you might get from your local auto parts store. So in my opinion, it does make sense to spend a little bit more money on a higher quality upgraded brake set, especially if you're running a larger tire. That additional diameter, that additional weight can be a little bit difficult to stop. This isn't going to stop nearly as good as a big brake kit, but it is going to have more bite than those factory replacements. These are basically an OE replacement rotor. They're going to fit on your late model 99 to 2006 TJ. They're just going to bolt directly into place. That part is going to be very, very simple. These pads are going to slide directly into your factory calipers that you already have on your Jeep. These are a Z16 PowerStop pad that is a ceramic blend, which is low dust. I'm sure a lot of us with our Jeeps aren't as worried about the low dust factor, but they are also going to bite very well, especially once you break them in. These are thermally scorched, which makes the break-in procedure that much faster for you, but the break-in procedure is going to be very important to make sure that you get the most out of your new brakes. So like I said, the install for these brakes is a very simple 1 out of 3 wrench installation. All you're going to need to do is jack up the Jeep, make sure you support it with a jack stand, and you're safe anytime you're removing the tires. Remove the front tire, go ahead and unbolt your brake caliper, and when you unbolt it, you are going to want to use a zip tie or a bungee cord to tie it up out of the way. Don't just let it dangle by that soft brake line, you can damage it. Once that caliper is removed, you can easily slide your rotor off, reinstall your new rotor, go ahead and put your new pads in your caliper. You may need to use a caliper expansion tool or a C-clamp to push the piston of the caliper in a little bit, because of course you are going to have a thicker pad and a thicker rotor than you just took off. Go ahead and reinstall the caliper and reinstall those caliper bolts. It's very important that you do not over torque those caliper retention bolts. If you over torque those, you're going to strip out the casting, and the only way to fix that, other than changing the whole steering knuckle, is to drill and put a thread replacement inside of there. So be very, very careful when you are reinstalling those calipers. They do not need to be overly tight. Just tighten them enough to make sure everything stays together. Rinse and repeat on the other side, and you're finished. Once you have all the components installed, then you need to go ahead and break in your brakes. And again, this is very important. This is going to transfer some of the friction material from your new pads onto your new rotors, and you do want to do this right away. If you drive around normally for a while, you're going to glaze over your rotors, and you're never going to get the stopping power that you really want or expect from a new set of brakes. And the break-in procedure is very simple. All you're going to need to do is 3 to 5 hard stops from 35 miles an hour down to 5 miles an hour, drive around for a while without coming to a complete stop to cool the brakes, and repeat that process one more time. After you're done, you do want to make sure that you cool the brakes completely by driving around for 20 minutes if you can without stopping. Make a nice long trip. If during the process of breaking in your brakes you come to a stop sign or to a red light, it is important that you keep rolling. If you absolutely have to come to a complete stop, put the Jeep in neutral, set the emergency brake, and take your foot off the brake. If you are holding tight to a really hot brake, you can transfer extra friction material onto that one spot of your new rotor, and it can actually end up feeling like you have a warped rotor even though you don't. You're gonna get that surging when you're stopping, which of course is no good. So a little bit to it, but a very important process, and if you do it right, you're gonna get the most out of your new brakes. As I said at the top of the video, these drilled and slotted rotors are going to be a little bit more expensive than the plain version of this same kit. This is around $155, the plain version is around $120, and it really comes down to how you feel about the drilled and slotted, how you use your Jeep, and how you want to spend your money. On the street, I do like a drilled and slotted rotor. If you're going to spend a lot of time off-road, you don't think it's worth it, the less expensive option is there. Either way, you are going to be getting a high quality set of brakes that is going to definitely stop better than those OE brakes or a cheap OE replacement would. So if it's time to swap out the front brake rotors and pads on your TJ, you want something that's going to bite a little bit better, I definitely recommend taking a look at this Power Stop kit. It's going to be an easy bolt-on install that will replace those OE components, but work a little bit better. So that's my review of the Power Stop brake rotor and pad kit fitting all late model 1999 to 2006 TJs that you can find right here at extremeterrain.com.